My name is Benjamin. Thank you for joining us at Position for Prosperity. Today we will be speaking about starting an ATM business. Now, over the span of this two-part series, I will walk you through the exact steps I use to start my ATM company. The main thing I want people not to do is to overcomplicate this. Now, I know that there are thousands of videos out today. So if you're serious about starting an ATM business, I actually advise you to check them all out and develop whatever methods that work best for you. And one of the reasons I would actually even say watch the other videos is because when you start something with little to no money, one of your greatest assets will be information. You should be able to decipher a common theme from watching these other videos, mine included, and then you should be able to build from there. So let's get started with today's subject, which will be numbers. Numbers should always be addressed first. They are the building blocks of any business. Good numbers, good business. Bad numbers, and then bad business. Your numbers today, you have three numbers. The first number will be your investment amount. The second number will be expenses. Recurring fees will fit in there as well. And then your third number will be your return on your investment, what you expect to get out of this, and how soon you can break even with what you put in and start actually seeing a profit from there. So the first number again is the investment amount. This is a number that it's going to take to actually get your business up and running. This number will include equipment, your machine, your load amount, it's going to vary, and your legalities. Now, like I said, some of the equipment number and your load number, they'll vary. Your legal numbers are pretty much cut. They're going to stay the same. That's with the investment, with the DBA information and everything like that. Now, new equipment usually starts above $2,000, $2,400, $2,500. It's for your brand new basic ATM. So some of this information as I mentioned it, I might not go into depth about it because I'm sticking with just the guidelines, but I'll have links below. So if you want to check that information out, feel free to do so. Use ATMs usually start between $700 and they'll go up depending on the model, who owns it, where it's located. That number can vary. That's gonna be one of the most important numbers. So we'll get more into that. You can find a good ATM, a good piece of equipment for under $2,000. I have before, and I'll show you how in other videos. We'll have guides for that as well. Now, legalities. This is the business part of the business. Your DBA, your local county office, should be $30 to $50, depending, again, like I said, where you're located. I'm in Texas. My local county office is $30. Now, you also have your web, which is basically free. You can get a free WordPress weekly account. You can get something free from those guys. Your email, pretty much you can use a basic Google email. That can be free as well. Now, if you want to have an email that has your actual business tag on it, that will cost. And a phone number, if you want to have a separate business number. Now with Google Voice, that's not really an issue. You can have a Google Voice account and you can just have a second number with that. So that number, those things can be free. You can use the free version of those things, or you can go and pay for something more tailored to you if you want to. So that's a number that, depending on if you're starting with little to no money. If you're starting with no money, you definitely want to use the free ones first. A banking account. You can open a basic bank account, business bank account, once you get your DBA papers. You can take your DBA papers to a bank and you can open up a business bank account. And then once you do that, some banks will let you open them up for free. Some banks require, if you open up for free, you have to put a certain amount in by a certain date. So you can do that as well. So those steps, pretty much, there are free versions of them, and then there are versions that you actually have to pay for. Then your load amount. We're going to speak about the load amount, but this amount can vary as well. But I don't recommend an amount under $500, and we'll go into that. My machines I have them placed in specific positions, and I'll go into that and I'll tell you why I consider a $500 load amount is okay to get started, because you have to remember, like I said, we're starting with little to no money down. So if somebody has $2,500, I want them to be able to see where they fit in this position, whether they have to raise more money or whether they're okay if they're coming in under the window. So we'll go into that as well. Now, the reason with the load amount, you can actually set your max on the machines. I know everybody's been to the ATM machine before. You stick your card in and it tells you $20 minimum, $200 max. Now, with your own personal ATM machine, if you're starting with $500 load, you can set your max at $100 on the machine. So that'll keep a person from coming in and one transaction almost wiping out half of your drawer. We'll go into that a little bit further as well. And if anybody has any comments or questions that they feel like they want to answer at the bottom of the video, please feel free to do so. Now, use part of the money, and you can use part of the money in your newly opened bank account. Like, let's say you open up a bank account and you put $300 deposit in. Well, you could take another $200 and add with that $300 when it's time to load your machine, because that money's going to go back into the bank account anyway. Now, ATM number 2, expense. Your expenses. You have 2 types of expenses. You have a one-time expense on some things, and then some things have recurring expenses. Your one-time expenses, something like that would be your software. Any machine under 5 years old would most likely need a software upgrade. My machine needed a software upgrade. That's a one-time expense though, at least for that machine. An EMV reader, which is basically the credit card reader. It reads your credit card. Now with the chip cards, some of the older devices, if it needs a software update, a lot of times it'll need a reader update as well. But if it doesn't, then great. That means whoever had it before you, if you're buying a used machine, they upgraded that. Security. So security is really important. You can upgrade as you go. Now, there are different types of security: weights, bolts, tracker devices, armored sleeves. Security should be based on the probability of theft. If the risk and the reward are both high, then invest highly here. I use the weighted method, and I'll go into why I use the weighted method. Okay. Then after one-time expenses, you have reoccurring expenses. These expenses will be your web portal, your power to connect, your ACH, which is your all clearinghouse. Your all clearinghouse is the back end of the ATM device. It's the company that takes the money from the person using your device and puts it in your account. So that's going to be a recurring fee. Your supplies, which basically would be your paper rolls, the receipt rolls. So if you bought a case of those, depending on, hopefully you can run through a case in a couple of months, But if not, that's a recurring fee. Not one that you'll have to pretty much worry about. If you pay for rental space for your device, like if you're paying the location where your device is at, I actually believe in that. I don't mind paying. I know some people that have companies where they don't pay for the space. The people allow them to put the device in their location, and they do it as a service to that company. And they look at it like that. For me, I don't mind. I don't mind giving a percentage if the device will make me some money. I mind sharing that with the location owner. So if you pay for rental space, then you have to know how to work that number out. And like these numbers and things like this nature, when I talk about them, I'll have links at the bottom with example forms and different things. But basically how I do it, you can do it how you want to do it. Again, like I say, check out all of your avenues of information before you just go with exactly one person or one type of way of doing something. And then another expense will be maintenance fees, but let's hope you don't have those. We'll try to do everything we can here. We'll try to give you all the information that we can to keep that from happening to you. Now your third number is going to be your return on investments. You have a daily return and you have a monthly return. I don't focus on the load amount. Like I don't believe in focusing on well, if I put $1,000 in this machine, I want X amount of dollars back from this $1,000. I don't look at it like that. Be concerned about your transaction amounts. I aim for 20 transactions daily. If you get a device that can do 20 transactions daily, depending on how much your surcharge is. If you're charging $2.50 a surcharge, so if you're charging them $2.50 every time someone uses your device, and you get 20 transactions like that a day, that's $50 a day. Depending on how the amount of time that the business is open. If it's 7 days a week, if it's a business that's open 7 days a week, then that means you can make $40, $50 every day. You know, if it's open 5 days a week, then you would make that amount in a 5-day span. The number that is relevant to me is the transaction number. That's the number that is going to gauge what your profitability is from your machine, from that one machine. Unless you have multiple machines, then you can break it down and figure out your numbers from there. If your daily transaction is 20 and your surcharge is $2, then that's $40 daily. Normal business hours, how many hours the business is open, where the machine is located. Let's say your business is open 5 days. In 4 weeks, that's 20 days of the business being open. If your machine is making $40 a day, then 20 days, that machine is bringing you in $800 a month before your expenses. So that's not bad for something that you're only going to pay for one time. You're not going to have to stand over it or do anything for it to bring you in that $800. And then if you multiply that amount of machines, that amount of money coming in by multiple machines, then you have a nice little nugget that will be coming in for you. Let's say your monthly expenses are only your ACH. So let's say you don't pay for anything. You're using a free phone, you're using free email, you're using Google Voice. Your bank charges you nothing to start, and you don't pay rent. You come to agreement with someone that hey, I need people to be able to have access to cash. Just bring a machine in. You got one, bring one in. Don't worry about it. Don't give me anything. It'll help me. If you have a situation like that, your ACH would be like 2% of your return. So like 2% of $800 is only $16. With no other fees, your ROI would be $784. So if you started this business with $2,500 or less than $2,500, in 3 months of making $784, you will be at over you'd be like $2,300 somewhere. Those are numbers right now in my head. But in 3 months, that machine would have paid for itself. So in a 12-month span, in a year span, the next 9 months will be all profit. And then you go to the next year hopefully and be successful with that. So what I'm gonna do is behind me or beside me, however Turtle Vision 88 over there decides to put it, there's gonna be a list of numbers. It's gonna be on the low end and it's gonna be on the high end. So an example would be your low end for a device. Let's say if you can get a good machine for $700, that'll be your low end. A high end will be over $2,000. Your DBA is still gonna be the same number. Your website presence could be free. Your email could be free. Your phone could be free. Your bank load is still gonna pretty much be the same. It should be a minimum of $500. I'm gonna stick by that. Your supplies, you could start with zero. When I bought my machines, I've actually run across machines with the receipt roll in them. People don't usually take them out. So if you're buying a used machine, it should have a decent one in there. So that could be zero. Your internet, depending on if you're using connections, I advise you to get your own connection. Even if the business that you go into has its own connection, I advise you to get your own private line, your own private service for your device. So it will cut down on you having security risk. So internet could be anywhere from $20 to $100. Your ACH, Most clearinghouses just will allow you to start an account, and I'll have a list of my people in the feeds through all my videos. The same information pretty much, unless it's pertaining specifically to something, but the generic information will be in all of the links below. The ACH is zero. They don't charge anything. They only charge you once the service starts, and they deduct from what comes in. Unless they just, they bill you at the end of the month. They do that as well. Your space and location, like I said, that could be zero. Or it could be up to whatever, $100 a month. If the machine brings you $1,500 a month or however much, then of course you definitely want to be considerate of that person if they want a piece of that action. You have to come to some kind of amicable agreement. So without any upgrades, you're looking at the low end $1,300. If you can go 7, 30, 5, 20, you're looking at $1,300 again. Like I said, the numbers will be right here. On the high end, you would be looking at, if you did everything kind of like not just on a premium level, you would be looking at like a little over $3,000. So it is possible to start a profitable ATM business for under $2,000. Then with the return, starting at $400+ a month before expenses, this is an investment that will allow you to see positive returns after only a few months, like I said earlier. I'd like to thank you for joining us. If you found any of this content helpful, please like, subscribe, follow, because we will be adding more videos. In the next video, we will actually be discussing the device. So we're going to give you an in-depth breakdown of how to purchase a device. I have a checklist that I've created to help you with the used equipment purchase. So until next time, hustle hard and never pause.